Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. This month's video is going to be the mid-year book tag. I thought what better way to celebrate my 3-year BookTok and BookTube anniversary than doing a book tag. I've really enjoyed doing them. I think I've done a few this year so far, and I'm just really enjoying getting to talk about books a bit more than I would if it's just a haul, because if it's a haul, I haven't really necessarily read the books. Whereas these, it's quite fun to talk about some of my favourite books, talk about some of the books I've liked, disliked, what I'd recommend, what I wouldn't, and I just thought it would be a fun way to celebrate 3 years on these platforms. I'm just so grateful that 3 years ago I started posting, because honestly, the amount of people that I've met, the amount of books that I've been sent, the opportunities that I've been given are just incredible and genuinely make me emotional to think about. So I'm really, really happy and proud of myself, I think. I'm quite proud that I had the guts to do it, because I wanted to do it for a while, and I think I honestly must have had my account ready for a couple of months and I just didn't post anything. And then all of a sudden one day I was like, do you know what, I'm just going to post one video. Once I've posted one video, we'll see. And then from there, we are now here. So it is my 3-year anniversary, and let's just get straight into this book tag. Question number one is the best book you've read so far in 2026. And I have 3 answers for this, I think. Number one is The Wild Card by Stephanie Archer. I arc read this early and absolutely adored it. This series is one of my top 3 favourite romance series. It's incredible, and it was a 6-star read. I think that 2 of these are 6-star reads. I also gave 6 stars to Unbound by Peyton Corinne. This was another just incredible read this year. It was so emotional and I just absolutely adored it. And then the third one for this prompt is In Her Own League. I absolutely loved In Her Own League. It was just the perfect ending to the series. And if you've not read this or the Vancouver Storm series, they are 2 of my absolute favourite romance series. They're both sports romance series, and the found family in them is just incredible. The second prompt is the worst book that you've read in 2026. And I don't like being negative about books. If I don't enjoy a book, I simply won't talk about it. But this year, the worst book that I read that was just disappointing was Daddy Issues by Kate Goldbeck, because I was so excited for this. I'd bought it in the 99p deals in December. I read it in either January or February. I was so excited. The trope sounded great, and it just wasn't great. I almost DNF'd it, but I thought, you know what? It's a short enough book that I will just read it and see if it gets better. It didn't, so sadly, that was the most disappointing book that I have read so far this year. Prompt 3 is the best sequel you've read so far in 2026, and I have 2 answers for this one. Mistakes Were Made by Lucy Score, because this book was just such an emotional read. I connected with the characters. I think it just came into my life at the exact right time. It found me when I needed it, and it was just incredible. And then I recently read Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which was incredible. I did reread Bride so that I could go into this, and just rereading the 2 of them, they were as good as the first time, and this one was amazing. I really, really enjoyed it, and it put me on a bit of a paranormal kick. I think I read about 8 paranormal romances back to back, purely because I enjoyed this series so much. So these are definitely the best sequels I have read so far in 2026. So we've had the best sequel. The next prompt is the worst sequel of this year, and it had to be The Housemaid's Wedding. Now, I know that it's not technically a sequel, it is a novella that comes between the sequel and the third book in the series. I just don't think it had a point. I know that it was there mostly to kind of show the wedding, show that she's pregnant, set up the premise for the last book, but nothing really happened. It was just so boring. And I know that it was really short, so I didn't bother DNFing it. I did want to read the whole thing so that I had the whole series, because it was the first time I'd read a thriller. I really loved the rest of the series, but nothing really happened in it. I just thought it was a bit pointless and felt like a little bit of a waste of money. I'm so glad that I got it in my Kindle though, because I was going to buy the paperback for my sister to go with her whole collection of the series, and I'm just so glad I didn't. Prompt 5 is a new release that you haven't read yet that you want to. And the newest book that I have bought is The Daisy Chain Flower Shop. I read the whole series in December and I really loved it. They're just such cozy little reads. So I picked this one up because the works obviously does the most gorgeous sprayed edges. I'm really hoping that they'll redo edges for books 1 and 2, because they only started with, no, did they even start with book 3? I think they started with book 4. the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, they did the Gingerbread Bakery, and they've done this one. Yeah, they haven't done the first three. I'm really, really hoping that they'll bring some edges out for those ones. I know that they do the Summer of Spreages, so hopefully they'll do that this year. But this is the most recent book that I've picked up. I also picked it up in either this month or last month's 99p deals. So I'm thinking that I'm going to read it on my Kindle in the summer because I don't really want to take a lovely sprayed edge book with me on holiday. So that's my plan. But yeah, this is the newest book that I really want to read. Prompt 6 is your most anticipated read for the second half of the year. I have two that I am so excited for. One is Cross Check by Chelsea Curto, which was supposed to be coming out the day that I'm filming this, but it's been pushed back to the 20th. It's okay. It's all right. I can cope. Just I have a couple of books I'm reading in the meantime that have given me a bit more time to pace myself reading those, but I am so excited. And then The Mirror of Infinite Endings by Stephanie Garber. I cannot wait. I have pre-ordered the exclusive Waterstones edition. I just love that series so much. It is so close to my heart. I have so many different editions of it. It's one of my favourite visually, and just the series itself I absolutely adore. So I'm so excited to go back, and I cannot wait. I can't wait to be reunited with Jax and Ava. It's just, oh, I'm beyond excited for it. Prompt 7 is the biggest surprise of the year, and again, I have two answers for this. The first one is The Housemaid, because I just was not expecting to enjoy a thriller. I don't know if I would necessarily enjoy any more, but I think because I'd watched the film and I kind of had an idea of the plot, it made me really enjoy the book, and then I really enjoyed the whole series. But I don't know if I would necessarily pick up another thriller unless it was maybe just a short kind of standalone one. So essentially just a Freedom McFadden book because my sister has the whole collection. And the second biggest surprise of the year was Unsteady by Peyton Corinne, which I kind of thought that I would enjoy, but I didn't think I would enjoy as much as I did. This series I absolutely loved, and I just thought it's going to be a cute little kind of ice hockey college romance, but it was actually so much more than that. All of the books in this series are so emotional and just have so much more to the plot than just being a college romance or an ice hockey romance. And this really surprised me in the best way possible. And that leads us straight into favourite new author, Peyton Corinne. I knew that I would enjoy the books, but I didn't think I would enjoy them this much. And I honestly just love her writing, the way that she wrote the emotions, and specifically Unbound. Absolutely adore that book. It was clearly one of my favourites of the year. And I just think that she does it so well. I don't know how she does it, but every book that she's written so far I have absolutely loved, and I cannot wait for Undone. Actually, I should have put that in one of my most anticipated books for the rest of the year. Yeah, let me add Undone by Peyton Corinne, because I love the characters so much, and we've seen the characters that are going to be in that book across the rest of the series, and it has me so excited for their book. I really just want to know their backstories because one of the characters just hasn't been a great person, and I know that I'm going to like him in his own book, but I want to know what his deal is, and I cannot wait to read his story. Prompt 9 is newest fictional crush. I have two that I have read very recently. So one is Sawyer from One Last Rodeo. If you don't know, get to know. You need to read this series. The book comes out in a couple of weeks. It is incredible. My gorgeous friend Emma wrote this series. She wrote the most perfect MMCs. Oh my god. I sometimes think it's so crazy. Like when I was reading it and I was like, oh my god, I love Sawyer so much. That came out of the brain of one of my best friends. Like, that's mad to me. And again, like I was saying at the beginning of the video, if I hadn't made my BookTok page, then I never would have seen Emma's post. I never would have arc read her first book when she self-published it, and I then wouldn't have been invited to a Christmas event for a completely different author with a different publisher. I invited Emma to come with me, and she's now one of my best friends. So again, crazy, and I'm just so grateful that I started this page and have been able to meet the people I've been able to meet. So, first newest fictional crush, Sawyer from One Last Rodeo, and the second is Jesse Andrews from Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood. I'm just going to say he's a top tier yearner. He is what we expect from Ali Hazelwood MMCs, and I will say no more. Please take it in. Oh my god, gorgeous. Prompt 10 is a book that made you cry, and like I was just saying, this book and this entire series was just so emotional. So first we have Unbound by Peyton Corinne, then we have Mistakes Were Made by Lucy Score. For the same reasons I mentioned earlier, it just found me at the time that I needed it. I really resonated with the character and her whole journey, and I think I really needed to read this romance book. It was one of those books that I loved it, but it changed a part of me. And I haven't quite got over it yet, even though I read it back in March. I still think about this book weekly, and I also just went to the Hodder Romance Roadshow, and Lucy was there, so she was talking all about this book, and it even made me fall more in love with it, knowing kind of what she was going through when she was writing it and what she wanted to portray in the book. And she did it. She really did it with this one, and I absolutely love it. But it did make me sob, and I honestly cried my eyes out. And then the third book that made me cry was One Last Rodeo, which I did thank Emma for. I was updating her as I read it because I was genuinely sobbing. Like, it's a cowboy romance. I was like, it's not going to be that deep. She was like, no, 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 this will make you cry and want therapy, which it did, but in the best way possible. Like, it broke my heart and then put it back together in the sweetest way. It's just such an incredible book. It's a cowboy romance, small town, forced proximity, single mum. He is a professional bull rider, and it's just amazing, and you all need to go and read it, and I will never stop talking about her books and recommending them. So if you haven't read the Willow Ridge series yet, get yourselves on it and get to know, because it is just such a fun series. And if you liked Chestnut Springs, you will love this series. It had that kind of vibe. The first book in the series, Live Ranch Love, really felt like a bit flawless vibes to me, and if you know me, you know I love a cowboy romance, so go and check these ones out because they are just so fun. Prompt 11 is a book that made you happy. And I really had to think about this one because I really enjoy all romance books. Like, I have a fun time reading them, but I was like, what made me happy when I read it? And I think it's got to be The Wild Card by Stephanie Archer, because it was just such a perfect end to the series. It just wrapped everything up. Everyone has their happy endings. Actually, no, I take that back. Luca doesn't have his happy ending yet, and I am expecting Luca's book. Stephanie, if you're watching, which I know you absolutely are not, but I need Luca's book, please. Luca and Briar live rent free in my brain. That series is incredible, and if I don't get another book, I'm gonna riot. So yeah, The Wild Card just made me so happy when I was reading it. I absolutely loved it. It was just so cozy and just so amazing, and 6-star read. That is all I will say. It's incredible, and I say that's all I'll say, and then I carry on because it's just such a good book, and I cannot stop talking about it. But yeah, absolute 10 out of 10. Loved it. 6 stars, god tier. Go and read it. Prompt 12 is the most beautiful book that you have bought this year or received. So the first one is A Dance of Lies, because the details in this, are you kidding me? It is just such a beautiful cover and sprayed edges, and I just think it's so pretty. Like, the edges go all across the top and bottom. It is just so stunning. And then I also have a book that I have just bought, which is Unsteady, but it's the French version, and I just think this is so fun. It reminded me of the new covers for Unsteady and Unloved. They're getting new covers to match the new ones for Unbound and Undone, and they're going to have this kind of like illustrated style to them. And I found this when I went shopping in France, and it's just beautiful. And I just love it. I just think it's so pretty, and all of the little details inside the chapter headers all have the same headphones, and I just think it's so beautiful, and it was worth every penny. I think with the exchange rate I paid about £12 for it, which, bargain. I may already have a copy of it, but sorry, you cannot tell me that this is prettier than this. This is gorgeous, and I just love it. And now I'm waiting for the rest of the series to come out in France, because this came out in May and I bought it a couple of days after it came out, not realizing that it had just come out. So I'm waiting for Unloved. Here you go, let's take a moment. Is this not one of the prettiest books you've ever seen? Like, that artwork, gorgeous. Actually, do you know what? Let's shout out the cover illustrator. It says it's Jasmine Rika Kaur. I need to go and check her out to see if she's done any other book covers or any other character art, because this is gorgeous. Absolutely love this one. And then the last one is one that I have already mentioned, which is Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood. I don't know what it is about this book. I think it's the colours, honestly. I just think it's so pretty. Like, oh, just the theme and the way that, like, the writing links to the video game. And I'm a designer, so things like this really bring me a lot of joy. But like, it's just beautiful. I just think it's so perfect, and it's just so cute. And it actually, honestly, the fact that the font is like game focused really brings me so much joy. When I saw this in Of Books and Love, I was like, oh, because I had literally just been talking about it with Emma when we went book shopping. She was saying that it was a really great novella. I was saying that I was reading a lot of Ali Hazelwood at the minute and I wanted to read this one. We walked into Of Books and Love and there were three of them on the shelves, all signed. So we each bought one, and it's a little bit like fate, but I just think this is beautiful and I love it so much. And I'm so happy that it's on my shelves now. So finally, prompt 13 is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I'm going to scooch over here. I'm going to put my 26 books for 2026 TBR, and you will see how spectacularly I am failing at it. I have read 7 of the 26 books, which means that I still need to read the entire Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver. So that's 4 books. I need to read Throne of Glass, which is another 8 books. I need to read the Boston Blues series by Molly Goins, which is currently 3 books. I need to read First Time Caller. I need to read You and Me on Vacation. And I need to read Baby Dragon Cafe and Baby Dragon Bookshop. That's so many books. Like, feasibly, I could read that many books this year. It's whether I want to read those specific books. I started off the year really strong and I was reading a lot of the ones on my TBR, but so many good books have come out. And whilst I tried to put as many new releases on my TBR for the year as possible, so many have come out that I didn't know about. And oh, it's going to be really tough to actually complete this TBR. I am kind of determined. I feel like I will be quite happy with myself if I get all of them bar Throne of Glass. If I don't get those 8, I feel like that'll be okay. But those are the books that I need to read by the end of the year. But the books on my immediate TBR are Ali Hazelwood. I said I'm in my Ali Hazelwood era at the minute. I'm reading Loath to Love You. I'm about halfway through. Maybe not, maybe like a third of the way through. I've read the first novella, Under One Roof, and I'm currently on Stuck With You. I think I've literally read about 30 pages of it. Loving it so far. This is a great book, and I'm so glad that they're little novellas because I was just really fancying some Ali Hazelwood STEM romances. And I remembered I had this on my shelf, so I was very, very excited. So I'm currently in the middle of this one. And then obviously Cross Check by Chelsea Curto, which I already mentioned, is coming out very, very soon. I'm so excited for that, and I do think I will be buying it on release date. I have some Amazon vouchers that I've saved up, so I'll be getting that. And then, because I'm just really enjoying Ali Hazelwood at the minute, and I'm enjoying going back to some of the authors that I haven't read in a while, so I just really, really wanted to go back to one of my comfort series, which is When in Rome by Sarah Adams. So I need to read Beg, Borrow, Steal and In Your Dreams. So I literally just bought this one last week. It's just such a cozy series to me, and I haven't read these books yet. So I thought I would go back to the books that I really love and that honestly are bringing me so much joy to read. And the fact that these are waiting for me on my shelves is really exciting me. So I also really want to get to these two. And then the last two are in a similar vein because I really want to watch People We Meet on Vacation. I've just watched Off Campus. That could be a different video entirely, just talking about that because, oh my god, incredible. But I haven't read the books yet. But I really, really want to read You and Me on Vacation or People We Meet on Vacation before I watch the film, because obviously it's just a film, it's not a series. I only have to commit to one book. So I want to read this, and I really want to read Every Summer After, because I did not even know this was being made into, is it a film, TV series? I have no clue. I just know that it came out the other day. So I really want to read this one and this one, and then I can finally watch everything and have things to watch over the summer, because I don't tend to watch stuff, but I've really, really been enjoying watching things at the minute. I think Off Campus and Heated Rivalry and all of those have just brought me so much joy, and it's kind of reminded me that I do like watching things. So yeah, those are the books that I need to read by the end of the year, and this was the mid-year book tag. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing if you're not already, and I will see you all in next month's video.